Everyone. So our topic for today is Unit 4.1, the wet. Okay, now coming towards page number 77. The wet. To be successful and competent wet needs knowledge exceedingly wide. For each of the patient he is likely to get possesses a different insight. He must know why the cat is refusing her milk, why the dog is not eating his bone, why the coat of the horse is not shining like silk, why the parrot does nothing but groan, why the ducks and the chickens are falling to lay, why so faint the canary bird sings. And he, if is called to the zoo, he must say an incredible number of things. If the lion's caught a cold, if the zebra's getting old, if the centipede has trouble with his feet, if the hippo's feeling ill, if the bison's got a chill, if the Arctic fox is suffering from heat, if some virulent disease has attacked the chimpanzees, if the tortoise hasn't stirred for several times, if the bear's too full of buns, if the cobra eats her sons, if the panther has a wife who chews his ears, if giraffe have had a tiff and their necklace are feeling stiff, if hyenas will not laugh at keeper's joke, if the monkey pinched his tail, if the rhino's looking pale, if the elephant eats paper bags and chokes, if the camel hurts his hump, if the kangaroo won't jump, if the crocodile turns cannibal and bites, they run away and get that omniscient the wet and expect him to put everything to right. Profoundly, I pity the vet who must learn such a very great deal for his pay. My son, I advise you most strongly to earn your living an easier way. Don't attempt to attend the zoological crowd. A far more advisable plan is to call yourself doctor and so be allowed to treat the illness of man. Okay, so coming back to page number 77. What do you mean by vet? Vet मतलब क्या होता है students? So it is basically a short form of veterinarian. Now what do you mean by veterinarian? A doctor for animals and birds. कि जो एनिमल्स एंड बर्ड्स के डॉक्टर होते हैं उसको हम बोलते हैं वेटेरिनियर. ओके, यू कैन सी द मीनिंग ओवर देयर and in short we call it as vet. Okay, so what is the poet saying us? That to be a successful and competent vet. Now what do you mean by competent is having a very good knowledge and ability. Okay, कि अगर आपको एक सक्सेसफुल एंड अ वेरी नॉलेजेबल डॉक्टर बनना है ऑफ एनिमल्स, you need knowledge exceedingly wide. Okay, exceedingly is very much, so you need a lot of knowledge for that purpose. For each of the patient he is likely to get possesses a different inside. Okay, different inside is like it has different types of size and organs of body. Like what do you mean? That every type of patient, now उनके लिए patient कौन हो गए? Different kinds of animals. Okay, so every kind of patient he is going to see will have a different issue, right? So he is saying, the poet is saying that if you want to become a successful doctor of animals, then you need to have a lot of knowledge, because every person or every patient who would come would have different kind of problems. Now, he must know why the cat is refusing her milk, why the dog is not eating his bone. Now, what happens, students? See, when it is about our humans, okay, if we are not feeling well, we go to doctor and we say them that what is happening to us, right? And then he will give us medicines. But when it comes to animal, they don't say anything, right? So what happens is, how do we understand that they are not well, or there is some problem with them? So there are these basic habits. Okay, like when we know cat usually drinks milk, but at the time when she is refusing the milk, then we understand that okay, there is some problem with cat. At the same time, when dog refuses to eat bone, we understand that okay, they have some problem. So that is how we understand that they are not feeling well. When the usual things they do, when they don't do those things, we understand that they are not well, and that is the time we take them to doctor. बरोबर ना, उसी टाइम पे हम लोग उनको डॉक्टर के पास लेके जाते हैं. सो दैट ओनली द पोएट इज सेइंग दैट द डॉक्टर शुड नो दैट व्हाई द कैट इज रिफ्यूजिंग हर मिल्क. इफ नाउ सपोज आई हैव अ cat and she is not drinking milk, then I will think that okay, she is not well, and I'll take that cat towards doctor. So now the doctor should know that why she is refusing her milk. Again the same way, why the dog is not eating his bone, so the doctor should know what is happening to the dog, why is he refusing to eat bone, why the coat of horse is not shining like silk. Okay, so while talking about the coat of horse, if you see, usually it shines. Okay, the coat, the one which you carry, like unke jo neck pe hota hai wo, so it shines. So even if that is not shining, you understand that there is some problem with that horse. Okay, so again the poet is saying that if the coat is not shining, then there is something wrong in the horse. And why the parrot does nothing but groan. Okay, parrot is not doing anything, but it is just groaning. Now what do you mean groaning? Groaning is like a sound of pain. When you are in pain, the sound which you make is called groaning. So understood what over here the poet is basically trying to tell us, that he is telling the unusual behavior of animals and birds. Okay, and which is fun to read. This poem is all about humorous activities which animals and birds usually do when they are not well. Okay, coming towards the next part, why the ducks and chickens are failing to lay. Now if you know ducks and chicken, they usually lay, right? So if they are failing to lay, then again there is some problem. So over here, this is how he's trying to say that what do they lay? They usually lay eggs. Okay, ducks and chickens, but here over here they are failing to lay that, and that is why they are saying that why they are not laying eggs. And why so faint the canary birds sing. Okay, now what do you mean by canary birds? Canary birds are the birds which usually sing. Canary bird, what do you mean by canary bird? They are basically a small songbird. Okay, कि जो birds गाना गाते हैं वो, and they are known for their beautiful colors. कि जो उनके beautiful colors है, they are known for that. So when such beautiful songbird, if they don't sing, okay, then that is where you think that okay, there is a problem why they are not singing. Okay, so why so faint? Faint is like in a very dull way or in a very low way. So why so faint the canary bird sings, and if he is called to the zoo, he must say an incredible number of things. Okay, incredible is unbelievable. So what they are saying, that if they are called to the zoo, okay, he must say an incredible number of things. Now what are those incredible things? Let us see. If the lion's got a cold, if the zebra's getting old, okay, that if in case lion ko cold ho gaya, cough ho gaya, so even that is something which would have been a problem. Why? Because the lion has a problem with bad cold. Okay, so that is what opposite health problems are described against lion. And if the zebra is getting old, that if he is getting old, then again that is a problem. So the doctor should know that why are these behaviors of animals, what is wrong with them. If the centipede has trouble with his feet, now what is centipede? It is a small, centipede, a small insect with long thin creature and which has many legs. Okay, so unko bahut sare, they have many legs, they are small thin long creature. So if the centipede has trouble with his feet, okay, problem hai while walking, so again that would be a problem. If the hippo's feeling ill, that if all the hippos in the zoo they are feeling ill, then again that is a problem. If the bisons got a chill, now if you know bisons, they usually are hunting for food, so if they are chilling, so again that is a problem, that why they are not hunting for food. So all of these behaviors should be known to doctor. So that is why the poet keeps on saying then becoming a animal doctor is very difficult, because he should have a lot of knowledge regarding everything. If the Arctic fog is suffering from heat, okay, now if Arctic fog is suffering from heat, why do you feel that is mentioned? Arctic fog is suffering from heat. So Arctic fox, the name itself suggests that the one who stays near the cold regions. Okay, तो अगर वो लोग को heat issues हो रहे हैं, they are suffering from too much heat, then again that is a problem, because they are someone who have been staying at a places which are cold with cold temperatures. So even they, while they are staying at hot temperature, would again be a problem. So these are like opposite health problems जो mention किए हैं, जैसे कि lion, if lion is suffering from bad cold, and again this Arctic fox is suffering from too much heat. If some virulent disease has attacked the chimpanzee, now what do you mean by virulent disease? Virulent is something which is caused by वायरस. ओके, कि जो डिजीज वायरस से होता है उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं विरुलेंट. सो इफ सच काइंड ऑफ डिजीज हैज अटैक द चिंपैंजी, एंड इफ चिंपैंजी इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम दैट डिजीज, एंड इफ द टॉर्टोइज हैजंट स्टर्ड फॉर सेवरल ईयर्स. Stirred is to move. So if you know the tortoise hai, turtles hai, they keep moving, they have this habit of taking movement. So if they are not moving, again that is a problem. If the bear's too full of buns, ओके, कि जो बेयर है, इफ इवन दैट इज फुल ऑफ बंस, ओके, कि अगर बेयर भी फुल ऑफ बंस है, एंड इफ द कोबरा ईट्स हर सन, द कोबरा इटसेल्फ ईट्स हर सन, कि जो कोबरा है वो अगर खुद के ही बच्चे को खा जाती है. एंड इफ द पैंथर एज अ वाइफ हु चूजेस ईयर, अगेन दैट इज़ अ प्रॉब्लम, राइट. खुद की वाइफ है, वही अगर आपका कान खा रही है, so again that is a problem. So all of these problems are unusual, and when they happen, it is said that they are not well, and that is when we contact the doctor. So that is why again the poet, the central idea over here is the same thing, that the poet tries to say us that it is very difficult to become a animal doctor. If giraffe had a tiff and their necks are feeling stiff, okay, if giraffe has a tiff is quarrel. Now why do you think that giraffe have got a stiff neck? उनको स्टिफ नेक्स क्यों होती है स्टूडेंट? बिकॉज दे हैव अ ग्रेविटी प्रॉब्लम. ओके, बिकॉज ऑफ द लॉन्ग नेक्स, जिराफ्स के लॉन्ग नेक्स होते हैं, सो दे हैव अ ग्रेविटी प्रॉब्लम. So here in this poem, the giraffe have stiff necks due to a quarrel with other giraffe, and maybe while trying to reach the tall grasses in the zoo, that is why they say that it should get a stiff neck. Understood what the poet is trying to say us? Because it has quarrel with another giraffe, and maybe while he's trying to reach the grasses, they are telling that it has a tall zoo, and that is why having stiff neck is again a problem. If hyenas will not laugh at keeper's joke, okay, that hyena, they keep on making that sound. So they say that the keeper is like a zookeeper, जिसके वहाँ पे hyena रहती है. So they are saying the same thing, that if the hyena doesn't make that sound again, then there is a problem. And if the monkeys pinched his tail, and if monkeys are pinching their own tail, again that is a problem. If rhino, rhino, they look very they have a very dark color and they look very attractive. So if the color is dull, and if they have become pale मतलब एकदम light dull color बोलते हैं ना, if the appearance had become very dull, so again that is a problem. If the elephant eats paper bags and chokes, now we all know that elephant does not eat paper bags. They generally eat leaves of palm or coconut trees, or they eat cooked vegetarian food. So that is something which they eat. But again, if suddenly they start eating plastic bags and paper bags and chokes, then again that is a प्रॉब्लम. एंड इफ द कैमल हर्ट्स हिज हम्प, के जो हम्प है कैमल का, अगर वो खुद के ही हम्प को हर्ट कर देता है, so again that is a problem. And if the kangaroo won't jump, now if you have seen kangaroo, they keep jumping, बड़े बड़े जंप्स लेते वो लोग, एंड बहुत फास्ट भागते. सो अगर वापस कंगारू ये सारी चीज़ें नहीं करते हैं, एंड इफ द क्रोकोडाइल turns cannibal and bites. Cannibal is the one who eats human flesh. So अगर crocodile वैसे में turn हो गए, and if they start eating human flesh, and again if they start biting, then again that is a problem. They run away and get that omniscient. They run away and get that omniscient, that omniscient, the vet, and expect him to put everything to right. Okay, omniscient matlab kya? That one who knows everything. So at that particular time when all of these unusual behavior takes place, they call the doctor, and that is when they believe the doctor should know why they are behaving like that and expect him. वो उनसे एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि वो वापस चीज़ों को बरोबर करे. दे एक्सपेक्ट एवरीथिंग टू बी प्रॉपर एज बिफोर. Profoundly, I pity the vet. Okay, what is the poet saying? Deep inside my heart, I feel pity for the vet. मुझे दया आती है वो vet पे, who must learn such a very great deal for his pay. Okay, that उसके पेमेंट अभी उसको पता है that if he treats all of these animal then only he is going to get paid. तो उसके पैसों के लिए, मतलब उसके सैलरी के लिए, मतलब उसका पैसा बोलते हैं ना हम लोग के सैलरी मिलने के लिए उसको इतना सारी चीज़ों का पढ़ाई करना पड़ रहा है. इतना सारा चीज़ों का पढ़ाई करेगा तभी उसको पैसा मिलेगा. सो द पोएट इज सेइंग दैट आई फील पिटी फॉर दैट पेट, for that vet, that just to get money or just to get a particular amount of money to earn, he has to learn so many things. My son, I advise you most strongly to earn your living an easier way. And that is when the poet saying that if you want to earn, I suggest you that you find an easier way. कि कोई easy way ले लो जिससे आप लोग कमा सको, but don't become a vet, because vet को मतलब to become a vet you need so much of knowledge. Don't attempt to attend the zoological crowd, a far more advisable plan. That what is poet saying कि जो zoological plans है ना, treating animals या something related to zoo, don't try to go into that field. Rather choose a field which is an easier field, and just say you know that you can earn and you don't have that much amount of hardness. Okay, he's saying that go for something which is a very advisable plan, that which you know, okay, this is an easier way and through which you can earn. Go in such fields and don't go into this veterinary field. Is to call yourself doctor and so be allowed to treat the illness of a man. Okay, and last में वो क्या बोल रहे हैं poet, that a far more advisable plan is to call yourself doctor and so be allowed to treat the illness of man. That वो बोल रहे that at particular time comparing becoming a doctor of humans is way easier, because what happens with humans, we know, we can tell them, okay, that what is happening to us, and according to it he can give us medicines. But while talking about animals, उनके behavior से the doctor has to find out that what is happening to the animals, and that is why he's saying that at last becoming a doctor of humans is way better than becoming the doctor of animals. Okay, so this is how we come towards the end of our poem. So while reading this poem, you should understand, student, that the poet is not trying to discourage us. Okay, अगर किसी को veterinary doctor बनना है तो poet डराने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहा है. Don't take it in that way. Instead of that, understand that what he's trying to say us, that he's trying to give us the humorous activities which animals usually do. हम लोग ने कितने सारे animals के बारे में अभी poem में पढ़ा. So that is what he's trying to say us, that he's trying to give us humorous manners, the way the animal behave and the way the problems which a veterinary doctor faces. Okay, so don't take this poem in a discouraging way, that the poet is trying to discourage us that don't become a veterinary doctor. It's not like that. Okay, instead take it in that way that the poet is trying to say us that how amazing the vet is. Okay, that he has to deal with all of these animals and birds accordingly, okay, कि birds और animals दोनों को उसको deal करना पड़ता है, and he has that much of knowledge. Okay, so take it in that particular way. So this is how we come towards the end of our poem. Now coming towards the workshop and exercise part, come towards page number 76. Okay, if you come towards 76, where do you find all types of wild animal in urban areas? Do you have a pet? All of those 5 questions are like a PR question to yourself. They're asking you your personal response, so that would be your homework. Now coming towards sub question 1, they have given the specialist कि कौन सा doctor है, and the one what do they do. Okay, so while talking about dentist, we all know that it deals with teeth. So sub question D is your answer. Okay, now coming towards the 7th one, we all know that veterinary, अभी हम लोग ने पढ़ा, veterinary is related to, किससे related है बोलो फटाक से, it is related to animals and birds. ओके, सो वैसे वो आंसर बन जाएगा दैट वेटरनरी का क्या आएगा, ई वाला ऑप्शन, एनिमल्स एंड बर्ड्स. कमिंग टू द सेकेंड पार्ट, कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट. कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट हम सबको पता है व्हेन इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू हार्ट. ओके, कार्डियो प्रॉब्लम्स हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, सो व्हेन इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू हार्ट वी कॉल इट कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट. सो सब क्वेश्चन 2 का आ जाएगा जी. सो 3, 4, 5 and 6 वुड बी योर होमवर्क. ओके, discuss in your group and write out the most important reason why pediatricians and veterinarians have a tougher job to diagnose their patient illness. Sub question 2 would be a homework. We have seen what all problems a veterinary doctor has to face. Again, this is something आप लोग लिख सकते हो कि भाई क्या क्या problems आते हैं. हम लोग ने पूरे poem में वही देखा है, so you can write it accordingly. Now coming towards the workshop part. Okay, what is the rhyme scheme of stanza 1 to 3 and the last 2 stanzas, and how it is differing from the rest of the stanza. Okay, so you have to write the rhyming scheme of first stanza 1 to 3, like 1, 2 and 3. So the rhyming scheme in stanza 1, 2 and 3 is A B A B. Okay, and while talking about the rest of the stanza like 4 to 7, so 4 to 6 में the rhyming scheme is A A B C C B. Okay, and in the 7th one the rhyming scheme is A double B A double C A. And again, okay, it's only asked till 7. Okay, so why and how does it differ in the remaining stanza? So that is how it differs. You can write, so in the first 3 stanzas it is A B A B, while in the 4th, 5th, 6th it is A A B double C B, and while talking about 7th one it is A double B A double C A. Okay, now coming towards the next part, write any 5 illness of the animals in the poem that you find amusing or which you find laughable. Okay, कि any 5 you have to write कि जो आपको लगा कि that was very funny. Okay, so while talking about sub question 3, आप लोग लिख सकते हो sub question 3 समझाना सबको, that the stanza 1 to 3 the rhyme scheme is A B A B, and the last 2 stanza rhyme scheme is A double B A double C A and A B A B C D C D. Okay, and in the stanza 4 to 7 the rhyme scheme is double A B double C B. आपको सिर्फ मेंशन करना है क्या rhyme scheme है, कैसे डिफरेंट है, तो वैसे ही डिफरेंट है कि भाई फर्स्ट 3 का अलग है एंड लास्ट के बाकी का अलग है. ओके, राइट. फिर क्या था, राइट एनी 5 illness, दैट इज समथिंग यू कैन डू बिकॉज हम लोग ने पूरे पोएम में देखा है, तो आउट ऑफ विच एनी 5 आपको लिखना है. Out of all the animals and birds given in the poem, pick out 4 names that are similar in English as well as in Hindi or Marathi or your mother tongue language. Okay, so कौन से animals है जो हम लोग in usual we talk in like English, Hindi, Marathi सब में in general है. So there are animals like giraffe, then there was bison, then there was cobra, kangaroo, whale, bear. All of these are like same in all of the languages. Right, 4 reasons why animal in zoo suffer more than those who live free in the wild. Okay, that write 4 reasons why animals. Okay, so you have to write 4 reasons that why animal in zoo suffer from those who live free in wild. Okay, जो animals zoo में है, what are their sufferings while compared to the animals which are in the forest and which are free. Okay, so for you can write many reasons, out of which I'll give you like few examples. You can write about the freedom. Okay, that the one who are in the zoo, okay, the one which are in the cage, like the one who are the caged animals, they have the freedom of, they don't have the freedom of movement. Okay, कि वो उतना ही पर्टिकुलर केज में घूमते रहते हैं, while the one who are in forest, they have that freedom. Again, you can write about the animals which are in the zoo or which are kept in cage. They are fed by the zookeepers, तो उनको वही खाना पड़ता है जो zookeepers ने उनके लिए लाया है. But at the time when the animal is in the forest, they can eat whatever they like. It can be fruits, leaves, nuts, or any smaller animals which they consume. So again, like you have to write 4 reasons. 2 reasons I have given you, the rest of 2 you can do it as homework. Okay, out of all the animals, sub question B is also done. Yes. Sub question 4, think deeply and write, is the poet really discouraging the youth from becoming vets? Explain your reasons. At the end of the poem, I have said you that don't take it in a discouraging way, right? That the poet is trying to discourage you to not to become a vet. Don't take it in that way. So you have to think deeply and write. Do you really feel that the poet was discouraging you to become a vet? So you can write the answer. A vet needs to be proficient in identifying the specific disease and treat the entire animals and birds. These animals and birds differ largely in their shapes, sizes, types, and internal organs. They live in different geographical situations or settings. It is really hard for a vet to study about each and every one of them. All the more, a vet needs to be gentle and compassionate in dealing with them. He advises the youth to be thoughtful about becoming a vet. He adds that if you are really looking for money in the profession, then this veterinary science is not the ideal place or subject of study for such a person. बट इन शॉर्ट आप लोग डायरेक्ट ऐसा स्टार्ट मत हो जाओ कि हाँ डिस्करेज ही कर रहे, दे डोंट वांट अस टू बिकम वेट. डोंट स्टार्ट इन दैट वे, बट बी अ लिटिल जेंटल एंड ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन दैट व्हाट पोएट इज ट्राइंग टू से अस. Okay, sub question 5, find out from what a vet or a find out from a vet or from a website what precautions a vet has to take when he or she is called to treat wild or dangerous animals. Okay, that if they are called to treat wild or dangerous animals, what precautions do they take? You can write it in point wise or paragraph wise. Okay, so there are many such precautions which they take. You can find out few from the internet, few of them I'll tell you all. So they need to be like they need to take very much of precautions while they are treating animals. Okay, some of the dangers related to handling of animals includes physical injuries or allergies, hence wearing of proper masks, coats, usage of antiseptic lotions are advisable, then washing your hands with soaps and water or disinfect them every time is again important. Then you should be soft and gentle in touch when you are treating that animals. Cleanliness on a regular basis and proper hygiene should be maintained while you are in the testing rooms or labs or when you are in the cages. Animals are often unpredictable. You don't know whether they don't know that you are going to treat them, so they are very unpredictable. So you need to take a proper precaution of a proper caution should be taken at that particular time. So all of these points you can write down. Next, select any 4 zoo animals mentioned in the poem. Imagine that they are able to talk in English. Okay, compose a dialogue among the 4 animals and Compose the dialogue among the four animals discussing their discomfort and illness. Again, this is like an imaginary question. You need to imagine that okay, they are able to talk, so what all problems they would discuss with one another. So this would be a homework. So that is how we come towards the end of the chapter. We have seen the workshop part, we have seen the exercise question, and we have seen the entire poem. I hope you have understood the poem and you'll do your homework on time. See you all in the next one. Till then, bye bye and take care. Bye.